San Francisco Theosophical Society. Every year we hold an annual world peace meditation, and we do this on the first day of Lent, which is Ash Wednesday, which is today. And for the first time in, I guess, 2 years, we're able to have an in-person meditation. So we have a few people here. And what we do for our world peace meditation is we relax and open our minds, our hearts, our ears, and our breathing to hear these words. The words that I'll be reading are from the Diamond Sutra of Hui Ning. And our dear friends Joe and Gwen Miller started this, way back when, decades ago. And we would read 6:30 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. And it would be packed in here. And it was just such a wonderful thing to do. But, times have changed. So right now, because of our times, we're making it an annual. So at least we'll always have the Ash Wednesday start. And then on a Good Friday will be the closing. And on Good Friday at 6:30 p.m. live here at the lodge. And maybe we'll see if it's convenient, we'll do a live Facebook as well. We'll decide. We will again meet here on Good Friday at 6:30 p.m. and do a reading of the Great Liberation from the Tibetan Book of the Great Liberation by Evans Wentz. So, relax in whatever you're doing, whether you're doing dishes and you've got your ear pods on, just relax, and I'll try to give you a good sound with my voice. And it's very odd because I don't have the ear pods, and so the voice, it has to transfer a little bit of space. But you get the idea. Here we go. Come, blessed ones, we pray thee, roll the wheel of the dew-sweet law, which is excellent in the beginning, excellent in the middle, and excellent in the end. This is the Diamond Sutra of Hui Ning. Section 1, the Convocation of the Assembly. Thus have I heard, upon a time Buddha sojourned in Anathapindika's park by Sfts with a great company of bhikshus, even 1,250. One day, at the time for breaking fast, the world-honored and robed, and carrying his bowl, made his way into the great city of Sfts to beg for his food. In the midst of the city, he begged from door to door, according to rule. This done, he returned to his retreat and took his meal. When he had finished, he put away his robe and begging bowl, washed his feet, arranged his seat, and sat down. Now in the midst of the assembly was the venerable Subhuti. Forthwith he arose, uncovered his right shoulder, knelt upon his right knee, and respectfully raising his hands with palms joined, addressed Buddha thus: World-honored one, it is most precious how mindful the Tathagata is of all the bodhisattvas, protecting and instructing them so well. World-honored one, if good men and good women seek the consummation of incomparable enlightenment, by what criteria should they abide, and how should they control their thoughts? And Buddha said, very good, Subhuti, just as you say, the Tathagata is ever mindful of all of the bodhisattvas, protecting and instructing them so well. Now listen and take my words to heart. I will declare to you by what criteria good men and good women seeking enlightenment should abide and how they should control their thoughts. Said Subhuti, "Pray do, world-honored one. With joyful anticipation we long to hear." Buddha said, "Subhuti, all the bodhisattva heroes should discipline their thoughts as follows. All living creatures of whatever class, born from eggs, from womb, from moisture, with or by transformation, whether with form or without form, whether in a state of thinking or exempt from thought necessity, or wholly beyond all thought realms. All these are caused by me to attain unbounded liberation nirvana, yet when vast, uncountable, immeasurable numbers of beings have thus been liberated, verily no being has been liberated." Why is this, Subhuti? It is because no bodhisattva who is a real bodhisattva cherishes the idea of an ego, a personality, a being, or a separated individuality. Furthermore, Subhuti, in the practice of charity, a bodhisattva should be detached. That is to say, he should practice charity without regard to appearances, without regard to sound, odor, touch, flavor, or any quality. Subhuti, thus should the bodhisattva practice charity without attachment. Wherefore? In such a case, his merit is incalculable. Subhuti, what do you think? Can you measure all the space extending eastward? No, world-honored one, I cannot. Well, then can you, Subhuti, measure all the space extending southward, westward, northward, or in any other direction, including nadir and zenith? No, world-honored one, I cannot. Well, Subhuti, equally incalculable is the merit of the bodhisattva who practices charity without any attachment to appearances. Subhuti, bodhisattva should persevere one-pointedly in this instruction. Subhuti, what do you think? Is the Tathagata to be recognized by some material characteristic? No, world-honored one, the Tathagata cannot be recognized by some material characteristic. Wherefore? Because the Tathagata has said that material characteristics are not in fact material characteristics. Buddha said, Subhuti, wheresoever are material characteristics, there is delusion. But whoso perceives that all characteristics are in fact no characteristics perceives the Tathagata. Subhuti said to Buddha, world-honored one, will there always be men and women who truly believe after coming to hear these teachings? Buddha answered, Subhuti, do not utter such words. At the end of the last 500-year period, following the passing of the Tathagata, there will be self-controlled men and women rooted in merit coming to hear these teachings, who will be inspired with belief. But you should realize that such men and women have not strengthened their root of merit under just one Buddha, or two Buddhas, or three, or four, or five Buddhas, but under countless Buddhas. Their merit is of every kind. Such men coming to hear these teachings will have an immediate uprising of pure faith, Subhuti, and the Tathagata will recognize them. Yes, he will clearly perceive all these of pure heart and the magnitude of their moral excellences. Wherefore? Because such men will not fall back to cherishing the idea of an ego, a personality, a being, or a separated individuality. They will neither fall back to cherishing the idea of things as having intrinsic qualities, nor of things as devoid of intrinsic qualities. Wherefore, if such men allowed their minds to grasp and hold on to anything, they would be cherishing the idea of an ego entity, a personality, a being, or a separated individuality. And if they grasped and held on to the notion of things as having intrinsic qualities, they would be cherishing the idea of an ego entity, a personality, a being, or a separated individuality. Likewise, if they grasped and held on to the notion of things as devoid of intrinsic qualities, they would be cherishing the idea of an ego, a personality, a being, or a separated individuality. So you should not be attached to things as being possessed of or devoid of intrinsic qualities. This is the reason why the Tathagata always teaches this saying, my teaching of the good law is to be likened into a raft. The Buddha teaching must be relinquished. How much more so misteaching? Subhuti, what do you think? Has the Tathagata attained the consummation of incomparable enlightenment? Has the Tathagata a teaching to enunciate? Subhuti answered, as I understand Buddha's meaning, there is no formulation of truth as that called incomparable enlightenment. Moreover, the Tathagata has no formulated teaching to enunciate. Wherefore? Because the Tathagata has said that truth is uncontainable and inexpressible. It neither is nor is it not. Thus it is that this unformulated principle is the foundation of the different systems of all the sages. Subhuti, what do you think? If anyone filled 3,000 galaxies of worlds with the 7 treasures and gave all away in gifts of alms, would he gain great merit? Subhuti said, great indeed, world-honored one. Wherefore? Because merit partakes of the character of no merit. The Tathagata characterized the merit as great. Then Buddha said, on the other hand, if anyone received and retained even only 4 lines of this discourse and taught and explained them to others, his merit would be the greater. Wherefore? Because Subhuti, this discourse issues forth from all the Buddhas and the consummation of incomparable enlightenment teaching of all the Buddhas. Subhuti, what is called the religion given by Buddha is not in fact Buddha religion. Subhuti, what do you think? Does a disciple who has entered the stream of the holy life say within himself, I obtain the fruit of a stream entrant? Subhuti said, no, world-honored one. Wherefore? Because stream entrant is merely a name. There is no stream entering. The disciple who pays no regard to form, sound, odor, taste, touch, or any quality is called stream entrant. Subhuti, what do you think? Does an adept who is subject to only one more rebirth say within himself, I obtain the fruit of a once to be reborn? Subhuti said, no, world-honored one. Because once to be reborn is merely a name, there is no passing away nor coming into existence. Therefore, the adept who realizes this is called once to be reborn. Subhuti, what do you think? Does a venerable one who will never more be reborn say within himself, I obtain the fruit of a once to be reborn? Subhuti said, no, world-honored one. Because once to be reborn, non-returner is merely a name. There is no non-returning, hence the designation non-returner. Subhuti, what do you think? Does a holy one say within himself, I have obtained enlightenment. I have obtained perfective enlightenment. And Subhuti said, no, world-honored one, because there is no such condition as that called perfective enlightenment. World-honored one, if a holy one of perfective enlightenment said to himself, such am I, he would necessarily partake of the idea of an ego entity, a personality, a being, or a separated individuality. World-honored one, when the Buddha declares that I excel amongst holy men in the yoga of perfect quiescence, in dwelling in seclusion and in freedom from passions, I do not say within myself, I am a holy one of perfective enlightenment, free from passions. World-honored one, if I said within myself, such am I, you would not declare, Subhuti finds happiness abiding in peace, in seclusion in the midst of the forest. This is because Subhuti abides nowhere. Therefore he is called Subhuti, joyful abider in peace, dweller in seclusion in the forest. Buddha said, Subhuti, what do you think? In the remote past, when the Tathagata was with Dipankara Buddha, did he have any degree of attainment in the good law? No, world-honored one. When the Tathagata was with Dipankara Buddha, he had no degree of attainment in the good law. What do you think, Subhuti? Does a bodhisattva set forth majestic Buddha lands? No, world-honored one. Because setting forth majestic Buddha lands is not a majestic setting forth, such is merely a name. Then Buddha continued, therefore, Subhuti, All bodhisattvas, lesser and great, should develop a pure, lucid mind, not depending upon sound, flavor, touch, or any quality. A bodhisattva should develop a mind that alights upon no thing whatsoever, and so should he establish it. Subhuti, this may be likened to a human frame as large as the mighty Mount Sumeru. What do you think? Would such a body be great? Subhuti said, great indeed, world-honored one. This is because Buddha has explained that no body is called a great body. Subhuti, if there were as many Ganges rivers as the sand grains in the Ganges, would the sand grains of them all be many? Subhuti said, many indeed, world-honored one. Even the Ganges rivers would be innumerable. How much more so would be their sand grains? Subhuti, I will declare a truth to you. If a good man or a good woman filled 3,000 galaxies of worlds with the 7 treasures for each sand grain in all those Ganges rivers and gave all away in gifts of alms, would he gain great merit? Would she gain great merit? Subhuti answered, great indeed, world-honored one. Then Buddha declared, nevertheless, Subhuti, if a good man or a good woman studies this discourse only so far as to retain and receive 4 lines and teaches and explains them to others, the consequent merit would be far greater. Furthermore, Subhuti, you should know that wheresoever this discourse is proclaimed by even so little as 4 lines, that place should be venerated by the whole realm of gods, men, and titans as if it were a Buddha shrine. How much more so is the case of one who is able to receive and retain, read and recite. Subhuti, you should know that such a one attains the highest and most wonderful truth wherever this sacred discourse may be found. There should you comport yourself as though in the presence of Buddha and disciples worthy of honor. At that time, Subhuti addressed Buddha, saying, world-honored one, by what name should this discourse be known, and how should we receive and retain it? Buddha answered, Subhuti, this discourse should be known as the diamond of the perfection of transcendental wisdom. Thus should you receive and retain it. Subhuti, what is the reason herein? According to the Buddha teaching, the perfection of transcendental wisdom is not really such. Perfection of transcendental wisdom is just the name given to it. What do you think, Subhuti? Has the Tathagata a teaching to enunciate? Subhuti replied, world-honored one, the Tathagata has nothing to teach. Subhuti, what do you think? Would there be many molecules in the composition of 3,000 galaxies of worlds? Subhuti, many indeed, world-honored one. Subhuti, the Tathagata declares that all these molecules are not really such. They are called molecules. The Tathagata declares that a world is not really a world, it is called a world. Subhuti, what do you think? May the Tathagata be perceived by 32 physical peculiarities of an outstanding sage? No, world-honored one. The Tathagata may not be perceived by 32 marks, because the Tathagata has explained that 32 marks are not really such. They are called 32 marks. Subhuti, if on one hand a good man or a good woman sacrifices as many lives as the sand grain in the Ganges, and on the other hand anyone receives and retains even only 4 lines of this discourse, teaches and explains them for the benefit of others, the merit of the latter will be greater. Upon the occasion of hearing this discourse, Subhuti had an interior realization of its meaning and was moved to tears, whereupon he addressed Buddha thus, it is most precious thing, world-honored one, that you should deliver this supremely profound discourse. Never have I heard such an exposition since my old eye of wisdom first opened. World-honored one, if anyone listens to this discourse and is neither filled with alarm, nor awe, nor dread, be it known that such a one is of remarkable virtue. World-honored one, such an idea of fundamental reality is not in fact a distinctive idea. Therefore, the Tathagata teaches idea of fundamental reality is merely a name. World honored one, having listened to this discourse, I receive and retain it with faith and understanding. This is not difficult for me, but in the ages to come, in the last 500 years, if there be men and women coming to hear this discourse who receive and retain it with faith and understanding, they will be persons of the most remarkable achievement. Wherefore? Because they will be free from the idea of an ego, free from the idea of a personality, free from the idea of a being and a separated individuality. And why? Because the distinguishing of an because the distinguishing of an ego entity is erroneous. Likewise, the distinguishing of a personality or a being or a separated individuality is erroneous. Consequently, those who have left behind every phenomenal distinction are called Buddhas all. Buddha said to Subhuti, just as you say, if anyone listens to this discourse and is neither filled with alarm nor awe nor dread, be it known that such a one is of remarkable achievement. Wherefore? Because, Subhuti, the Tathagata teaches the first perfection, the perfection of charity, is not in fact the first perfection. Such is merely a name. Subhuti, the Tathagata teaches likewise the perfection of patience is not the perfection of patience. Such is merely a name. Why so? It is shown thus, Subhuti. When the Raja of Kalinga mutilated my body, I was at that time free from the idea of an ego, personality, a being, and a separated individuality. Wherefore? Because then, when my limbs were cut away piece by piece, had I been bound by the distinctions aforesaid, feelings of anger and hatred would have been aroused within me. Subhuti, I remember that long ago, sometime during my past 500 mortal lives, I was an ascetic practicing patience. Even then, was I free from those distinctions of separated selfhood? Therefore, Subhuti, Bodhisattva should leave behind all phenomenal distinctions and awaken the thought of the consummation of incomparable enlightenment by not allowing the mind to depend upon notions evoked by the sensible world, by not allowing the mind to depend upon notions evoked by sounds, odor, flavor, touch, or any quality. The mind should be kept independent of any thought which arises within it. If the mind depends upon anything, it has no sure haven. This is why Buddha teaches that the mind of a bodhisattva should not accept the appearances of things as a basis when exercising charity. Subhuti, when bodhisattvas practice charity for the welfare of all living beings, they should do it in this manner. Just as the Tathagata declares that characteristics are not characteristics, so he declares that all living beings are not in fact living beings. Subhuti, the Tathagata, is he who declares that which is true, he who declares that which is fundamental, he who declares that which is ultimate. He does not declare that which is deceitful, nor that which is monstrous. Subhuti, that truth to which the Tathagata has attained is neither real nor unreal. Subhuti, if the Bodhisattva practices charity with mind attached to a formal notion, he is likened to a man groping sightless in the gloom. But a bodhisattva who practices charity with mind detached from any formal notions is likened to a man with eyes open into the radiant glory of the morning, to whom all kinds of objects are clearly visible. Subhuti, if there be good men and good women in future ages able to read, recite, receive this discourse in its entirety, the Tathagata will clearly perceive and recognize them by means of his Buddha knowledge, and each one of them will bring immeasurable and incalculable merit to fruition. Subhuti, if on the one hand a good man or a good woman performs in the morning as many charitable acts of self-denial as the sand grains of the Ganges, and performs as many again in the noonday, and as many again in the evening, and continues doing so through numberless ages, and on the other hand, anyone listens to this discourse with heart of faith and without contention, the latter would be more blessed. But how can any comparison be made with one who receives it, retains it, and explains it to others? Subhuti, we can summarize the matter by saying the full value of this discourse can neither be conceived nor estimated, nor can any limit be set to it. The Tathagata has declared this teaching for the benefit of initiates of the Great Way. He has declared it for the benefit of the initiates of the Supreme Way. Whosoever can receive and retain this teaching, study it, recite it, write it, spread it abroad, will clearly be perceived and recognized by the Tathagata and will achieve a perfection of merit beyond measurement or calculation, a perfection of merit unlimited and inconceivable. In every case, such a one will exemplify the Tathagata, consummation of incomparable enlightenment. Wherefore, because Subhuti, those who find consolation of limited doctrines involving the conception of an ego entity, a personality, a being, or a separated individuality are unable to accept, receive, study, recite, or openly explain this discourse. Subhuti, in every place where this discourse is to be found, the whole realm of gods, men, and titans should offer worship. For you must know that such a place is sanctified like a shrine and should be properly venerated by all with ceremonial obeisance, circumambulation, and with offerings of flowers and incense. Furthermore, Subhuti, if it be that good men and good women who receive and retain this discourse are downtrodden, their evil destiny is the inevitable retributive results of sins committed in their past mortal lives. By virtue of their present misfortune, the reacting effects of their past will thereby be worked out, and they will be in a position to attain the consummation of incomparable enlightenment. Subhuti, I remember the infinite remote past before Dipankara Buddha. There were 84,000 myriads of multi-millions of Buddhas. To all these I made offerings. Yes, all these I served without the least trace of fault. Nevertheless, if anyone is able to receive, study, recite, retain this discourse at the end of the last 500-year period, he will gain such a merit that mine in the service of all those Buddhas could not be reckoned as 100th part of it, not even 1,000th part of it, not even 1,000 myriad multi-millionth part of it. Indeed, no such comparison is possible. Subhuti, if I fully detailed the merit gained by good men and good women coming to receive, retain, study, and recite this discourse in the last period, my hearers would be filled with doubt, might become disordered in mind, suspicious and unbelieving. You should know, Subhuti, that the significance of this discourse is beyond conception. Likewise, the fruit of its rewards is beyond conception. At that time, Subhuti addressed Buddha, saying, World-honored one, if good men and good women seek the consummation of enlightenment, by what criteria should they abide, and how should they control their thoughts? Subhuti, good men and good women seeking the consummation of incomparable enlightenment must create a resolved attitude of mind. I must liberate all living beings, yet when all living have been liberated, not any one is liberated. Wherefore, if a bodhisattva cherishes the idea of an ego, a personality, a being, or a separated individuality, he is consequently not a bodhisattva, Subhuti. This is because, in reality, there is no formula which gives rise to the consummation of incomparable enlightenment. Yay! Subhuti, what do you think? When the Tathagata was with Dipankara Buddha, was there any formula for the attainment of consummation of incomparable enlightenment? No, world-honored one, as I understand Buddha's teaching, there was no formula by which the Tathagata attained the consummation of incomparable enlightenment. Buddha said, you are right, Subhuti. Verily, there was no formula by which the Tathagata attained the consummation of incomparable enlightenment. Subhuti, had there been any such formula, Dharpankara Buddha would not have predicted concerning me that in future ages, you will come to be a Buddha called Shakyamuni. But Dharpankara Buddha made that prediction concerning me because there is actually no formula for the attainment of the consummation of incomparable enlightenment. The reason herein is that Tathagata is a signification implying all formulas. In case anyone says Tathagata attained enlightenment, I tell you truly, Subhuti, there is no formula by which the Tathagata attained it. Subhuti, the basis of Tathagata's attainment of the consummation of incomparable enlightenment, is wholly beyond. It is neither real nor unreal. Hence I say that the whole realm of formulations is not really such. Therefore it is called realm of formulations. Subhuti, a comparison may be made with the gigantic human frame. Then Subhuti said, the world-honored one has declared that such a body is not a great body. A great body is just the name given to it. Subhuti, it is the same concerning bodhisattvas. If a bodhisattva announces, I will liberate all living creatures, he is not rightly called a bodhisattva. Wherefore, because Subhuti, there really is no such condition as that called bodhisattvaship. Because Buddha teaches that all things are devoid of selfhood, devoid of personality, devoid of entity, and devoid of separated individuality. Subhuti, if a bodhisattva announces, I will set forth majestic Buddha lands, one does not call him a bodhisattva, Subhuti, because Tathagata has declared that setting forth majestic Buddha lands is not really such. A majestic setting forth is just the name given to it. Subhuti, bodhisattvas who are truly, wholly devoid of any conception of egoity, separate selfhood, are truthfully called bodhisattvas. Subhuti, what do you think? Does the Tathagata possess the human eye?
Yes, world-honored one, he does.
Do you think the Tathagata possesses the divine eye?
Yes, world-honored one, she does.
Do you think the Tathagata possesses the Gnostic eye?
Yes, world-honored one, she does.
Do you think the Tathagata possesses the eye of transcendent wisdom?
Yes, world-honored one, she does.
Do you think the Tathagata possesses the Buddha eye of omniscience?
Yes, world-honored one, she does.
Do you think the Tathagata has taught concerning the sand grains of the Ganges?
She has taught concerning the sand grains.
Then Buddha said, Subhuti, however many living beings there are in all of those sand grains, though they have, I missed a spot. Well, Subhuti, if there were as many Ganges rivers as the sand grains of the Ganges, and there were as many Buddha lands for each sand grain, and all those Ganges rivers, would those Buddha lands be many?
Many indeed, world-honored one.
Then Buddha said, Subhuti, however many living beings there are in all those Buddha lands, though they have manifold modes of mind, the Tathagata understands them all. Wherefore? Because the Tathagata teaches that all these are not mind. They are merely called mind. Subhuti, it is impossible to retain past mind, impossible to hold on to present mind, and impossible to grasp future mind. Subhuti, what do you think? If anyone filled 3,000 galaxies of worlds with the 7 treasures and gave all away in gifts of alms, would she gain great merit? Yes, indeed, world-honored one, she would gain great merit. Subhuti, if such merit was real, the Tathagata would not have declared it to be great, but because it is without the foundation, Tathagata characterized it as great. Subhuti, what do you think? Can the Buddha be perceived by his perfectly formed body? No, world-honored one. The Tathagata cannot be perceived by a perfectly formed body. Perfectly formed body is merely a name. Subhuti, what do you think? Can the Tathagata be perceived by any means of phenomenal characteristic? No, world-honored one. The Tathagata may not be perceived by any phenomenal characteristic because the Tathagata teaches that phenomenal characteristic is not really such, it's merely a name. Subhuti, do not say the Tathagata conceives the idea I must set forth a teaching, for if anyone says the Tathagata sets forth a teaching, he really slanders Buddha and is unable to explain what I teach. As to any truth declaring system, truth is undeclarable, so an enunciation of truth is just the name given to it. Thereupon, Subhuti spoke these words to Buddha. World honored one, in the ages of the future, will there be men and women coming to hear a declaration of this teaching who will be inspired with belief? And Buddha answered, Subhuti, those to whom you refer are neither living beings nor not living beings. Wherefore, because living beings, Subhuti, these living beings are not really such, they are called living beings. Then Subhuti asked Buddha, world honored one, in the attainment of enlightenment, did Buddha acquire no thing whatsoever? And Buddha answered, just so, Subhuti. Through the consummation of incomparable enlightenment, I acquired not even the least thing, wherefore it is called consummation of incomparable enlightenment. Furthermore, Subhuti, this is all together everywhere, without differentiation or degree, wherefore it is called consummation of incomparable enlightenment. It is straightly attained by freedom from separate personal selfhood and by cultivating all kinds of goodness. Subhuti, though we speak of goodness, the Tathagata declares that there is no goodness, such as merely a name. Subhuti, if there be one who gives away in gifts of alms a mass of the seven treasures equal in extent to as many mighty Mount Sumerus as there be in 3,000 galaxies of worlds, and there be another who selects even only 4 lines from this discourse upon the perfection of transcendental wisdom, receiving and retaining and clearly expounding them to the others, the merit of the latter will be so far greater than that of the former that no conceivable comparison can be made between them. Subhuti, what do you think? Let no one say that Tathagata cherishes the idea I must liberate all living beings. Subhuti, allow no such thought. Because in reality there are no living beings to be liberated by Tathagata. If there were living beings for the Tathagata to liberate, he would partake in the idea of a selfhood, personality, entity, and separate individuality. Subhuti, though the common people accept egoity as real, the Tathagata declares that it is not different from non-ego. Subhuti, whom the Tathagata referred as common people, are not really common people, such as merely a name. Subhuti, what do you think? May the Tathagata be perceived by 32 marks? Subhuti said, yeah, certainly the Tathagata may be perceived by 32 marks. Then Buddha said, Subhuti, if the Tathagata may be perceived by 32 marks, any great imperial ruler is the same as Tathagata. Subhuti then said to Buddha, world honored one, as I understand the meaning of Buddha's words, the Tathagata may not be perceived by 32 marks. Whereupon the world honored one uttered this verse, who sees me by form, who seeks me in sound, perverted are his footsteps upon the way, for he cannot perceive the Tathagata. Subhuti, what do you think? If you should conceive the idea that the Tathagata attained the consummation of incomparable enlightenment by reason of his perfect form, do not countenance such thoughts. The Tathagata's attainment was not by reason of his perfect form. On the other hand, Subhuti, if you should conceive the idea that anyone in whom dawns the consummation of incomparable enlightenment declares that all manifest standards are ended and extinguished, do not countenance such thoughts. Wherefore, because the man or woman in whom the consummation of incomparable enlightenment dawns, does not affirm concerning any formula that it is finally extinguished. Subhuti, if one bodhisattva bestows in charity sufficient of the seven treasures to fill as many worlds as there be sand grains in the Ganges, and another realizing that all things are egoless, attains perfection through patient forbearance, the merit of the latter will far exceed that of the former. Why is this, Subhuti? It is because bodhisattvas are insentient as to the rewards of merit. Then Subhuti said, "What?" And Buddha answered, "Subhuti, bodhisattvas who achieve merit should not be fettered with desire for rewards. Thus it is said that rewards of merit are not received." Subhuti, if anyone should say that Tathagata comes or goes or sits or reclines, he fails to understand my teaching. Why? Because Tathagata has neither whence nor whither. Therefore he is called Tathagata. Subhuti, if a good man or a good woman ground an infinite number of galaxies of worlds to dust, would the resulting minute particles be many? Many indeed, world-honored one. Because if such were really minute particles, Buddha would not have spoken of them as minute particles. For as to this, Buddha has declared that they are not really such. Minute particles is just the name given to them. Also, world-honored one, when the Tathagata speaks of galaxies of worlds, they are not worlds. For if reality could be predicated of a world, it would be a self-existent cosmos. And the Tathagata teaches there is really no such thing. Cosmos is merely a figure of speech. Buddha said, Subhuti, words cannot explain the real nature of cosmos. Only common people, fettered with desire, make use of this arbitrary language. Subhuti, if anyone should say that Buddha declares any conception of egoity, do you consider he would understand my teaching aright? No, world-honored one. Such a man or woman would not have any sound understanding of the Tathagata's teaching, because world-honored one declares that notions of selfhood, personality, entity, individuality as really existing are erroneous. These terms are merely figures of speech. Subhuti, those who aspire to enlightenment should recognize and understand all varieties of things in the same way and cut off the arising of views which are mere aspects. Subhuti, as regards aspects, the Tathagata declares that in reality they are not such. They are called aspects. Subhuti, someone might fill innumerable worlds with the seven treasures and give all away in gifts of alms. Yes, but if any good man or any good woman awakens the thought of enlightenment and takes even only 4 lines from this discourse, reciting, receiving, retaining, and spreading them abroad, and explaining them for the benefit of others, it will be far more meritorious. Now, in what manner may he explain them to others? By detachment from appearances, abiding in real truth. So I tell you, thus shall you think of all this fleeting world, a star at dawn, a bubbling stream, a flash of lightning in a summer sky, a flickering lamp, a phantom, and a dream. When Buddha finished this discourse, the Venerable Subhuti, together with the bhikshus and bhikshunis, lay brothers and sisters, and the whole realm of gods, men, and titans were filled with joy by his teaching, and taking it sincerely to heart, they went their ways. Om Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om. Shanti Om. Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om. Shanti Om. Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om. Shanti Om. Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om. Shanti Om. Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om. Shanti Om. Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om. Shanti Om. Shanti Om. Om.